Welcome to Speaking of Spirituality, a podcast to share about the path of spiritual awakening. I'm your host, Amelia McLean, and I am so excited to be showcasing some inspiring stories and exploring some interesting topics, all under the umbrella of spirituality. So without further ado, let's dive right in. This week's episode is being released on Thanksgiving 2023. And so I'm thinking a lot about thankfulness and what it means to give thanks. And then it brings me to gratitude, and because that's a huge topic in the spiritual community. And so I have done a little bit of research to understand the difference between being thankful and being in a state of gratitude. And it seems like what I have discovered is that gratitude kind of encompasses being thankful. It's like being thankful is an aspect of gratitude, but gratitude is so much more than just being thankful, and being thankful is more of like a short-term, like temporary feeling, like when somebody gives you a gift or does a favor for you, it's like you're thankful in that moment. But gratitude is more of like a state of being. It's more of a prolonged way of living and way of thinking about life, and you can be grateful and in a state of gratitude even when you're not receiving gifts, or when someone has done something for you. It's like you're grateful all the time for everything, regardless of the circumstances, and that makes it more of a way of life and like a way of being. And it's such a powerful, both things are important, right? Like being thankful in the moment and telling somebody that, thank you for that, or for, doing that for me, or whatever it is. Showing that appreciation to that person in the moment is very important and very powerful. But learning how to live in a state of gratitude all the time, I'm now beginning to understand why that is really one of the most important aspects of manifestation and the law of attraction, is living in that constant state of gratitude for everything, because really every single moment is a blessing, it is a gift. And when we begin to see life in that way, we are just so magnetic. We are on a positive path forward. You can't not be if you're living in that state and looking at things in that way, because then even when you're going through a challenging situation, when you can find gratitude for that, that is just like, I believe that is something that an evolved soul does, is sees even the hard times as something to be grateful for, a positive thing. It seems almost like an oxymoron, but really it's like everything is happening for you. Everything is working in your favor, even when it seems like it's not. In the 3D human level, it's like it really is, though, because either you're being pushed away from something, which is actually a good thing, because let's take a relationship, for example. Like, I've been in some really fucking shitty relationships, and it's like, if I had just listened to the signs and understood the lessons earlier, I would have been that much closer to manifesting my soulmate. I had to go through those hard times. I had to learn those lessons in order to get to him, and to be in this place that I'm at now, where I'm so in love with my husband, and I found my best friend lover But yeah, I mean, when I was in those shitty relationships, it was really showing me what I didn't want, which is also a blessing, and that's how we can shift our perspective to actually seeing quote unquote negative situations in a positive way. And that is transmutation and alchemy. That is how you change your fucking life super rapidly, is by seeing everything as a positive situation, as something that's happening for you. Oh my gosh, this just feels revolutionary, and I feel like I'm shifting something inside of myself as I'm talking about this and speaking this out loud right now, because I'm like having a deeper understanding of it by trying to explain it. And I'm feel like I'm realizing something deeper about it than I even knew before I started recording this. And so that's really exciting. Yeah, so I just wanted to make this short little episode in honor of Thanksgiving. And oh man, there's so much more that I could say about this holiday. It's hard for me to want to celebrate it in the, for because of the little bit that I know about where the holiday actually comes from. I think that in our society we've been told one thing, and I think another thing, something darker actually happened, and then most people realize, like, I don't think most people fully understand how traumatic the colonization of the United States or whatever actually was for the people who were natively living here, the indigenous people of the land. I think it was a lot more terrible than most people know about or realize. And yeah, so Thanksgiving is made to seem like this sweet little holiday that, the Indians and the white people got together and they had this big feast and they shared their food and it was so, hunky-dory or whatever. But there was so much other like terribly gruesome stuff that was going on. So I just always am reminded of that. And I don't even obviously know the extent to which it really, like how bad it really was. Obviously, I was not there. Or maybe I was in another lifetime that I am not aware of. Anyway, yeah. So it's hard for me to celebrate it without recognizing that and just like acknowledging that part of it. But I do like the idea of having a time of the year that, that I can stop and reflect on what I'm doing right now. What does it mean to be thankful? What does it mean to be in gratitude? And I like that aspect of this holiday. And I like that it brings people together to celebrate all of that. And so I hope that a lot of people take the time on this day to really celebrate what they have in their life to be grateful for, because we, especially in this country, obviously being a first world country, we have a lot to be grateful for that people and thankful for that people take for granted every single day. Just the basic stuff like clean water. I mean, well, besides the fact that our our tap water is contaminated with chemicals, but I mean, like, we have access to clean drinking water in this country, and other humans living on this planet in other areas, they don't have that easy, access to clean water, and that's a big deal. clean air too. I mean, depending on what part of the United States you live in, we have pretty clean air in most areas. And that's also essential to our, well-being. And then, just like having houses to live in. I mean, obviously there's a huge homeless population in parts of the United States, and that is definitely unfortunate. But most people in our country, at least we have access to homes. We don't live in huts, anymore. And so in that way, we're a little bit more disconnected from nature. But anyway, what I'm getting at is just that we have access to so much, and that we really just take for granted most of the time. So that's one of the things that I really like about this holiday, is that we get a chance to slow down and take a look at what we have to really be thankful and grateful for. And I just like this season, this kind of in-between season. It's like we're in between the brightest part of the year and in the darkest part of the year. And so there's something special about this time, and the time of harvest, when all of the crops are being harvested and enjoyed, and we're getting ready for winter. Yeah, it's just a special time. So I hope you're enjoying a nice time with your family, and blessings to you on this Turkey Day. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Speaking of Spirituality. If you'd like to connect with me personally or book a session for Quantum Soul Alchemy, you can find me on Instagram at Ascending with Amelia. Have a beautiful day.